Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Housewife Historian, and we are here to talk the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm going to be talking a little bit in code today because if you watch my channel and you watch my live, yes.
Is the plane going down? Are we gonna die? Why are you saying I'm salty?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lindsay, the Housewife Historian. You guys can go ahead and put in the chat where you guys are watching from. I love to know who's watching, where you're watching from. Today we're going to talk, there's a lot going on in the Housewives world. We had Giudice on Watch What Happens Live last night. Emily Simpson recently posted a photo and all the housewives are talking Ozempic, she's on Ozempic. Well, not all the housewives, just Jackie Goldschneider from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. She actually commented on Emily's post, basically, saying that she's not taking Ozempic. So we're going to talk about that. Bethany Frankel also shaded Tamra in her comments, which I kind of found to be humorous, only because of the fact that there has been a lot of drama between Tamra from the Real Housewives of Orange County and Teresa Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. They've had drama, and Bethany actually, I don't know if she did a TikTok or she talked on her podcast, but she actually came to bat for Teresa Giudice. And so it's just funny that Tamra leaves a comment. We're going to get into that. Also, guys, great time for you guys to ask any questions that you might have as it pertains to New Jersey, since I do think that seems to be dying down a little bit. We got some photos of Melissa, Gorga, and Joe's new home reveal. Since they had a designer come in, they made some changes, and we got the big reveal from that over the weekend. We got to see who the designer was as well. She went ahead and tagged them. And then we also have Bo on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast talking about Louie, Teresa, Marge, and the whole situation. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that too. Thank you guys. Hi, Catherine. Hi from Massachusetts. Good morning, guys. Any questions you have, good time to ask while we break some of this down. Also getting a lot of people saying, where is the police report? So let's start off there talking about Margaret with her son and the phone call and about the police report. So allegedly on the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion, we heard Marge, we saw her come out with receipts alleging that she alleged to Andy that Louie had called her son at his job from his personal cell phone number and threatened I don't know if threatened him or like unalive him. I don't know what she made it seem like it was a threat. And so she said that it was serious enough that they filed a police report. And it looked like when she was on the New Jersey stage that she had a receipt with her, and everyone's sort of checking out to see if this was a police report, was it not a police report, like what's the deal here, right? Because if you file a police report and you make an accusation, the police have an obligation to check into it. So what's the status? Again, David from Behind the Velvet Rope, he was actually friends with Margaret for a while, and they fell out over actually New Jersey. They fell out over the rumor that pertains to Melissa because David believed it and Margaret didn't like that. So we know that Margaret likes receipts, and we know she likes to post things. We know that New Jersey likes to leak things to the podcasters. And oh, thank you so much, Camille. I just love her. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind and so generous. I actually bought a couple of things today, guys, because I want to do like a little game with you guys. I haven't thought it all the way through. I just saw some cute stuff that was Housewives related as it pertains to Beverly Hills coming up. So I really want to do a sort of game. So I'm going to get with you, Camille. Oh, I just love you. You're so sweet. Thank you. We were talking about Real Housewives in New Jersey. Margaret. Okay, so the police report. So as I've told you guys before, anyone can file a police report. Okay. I want to let you guys know that this is their MO in New Jersey. And I know this from my personal experience, okay? They like to file police reports, or they like to say that they're going to file police reports as a way to scare or intimidate or bully, if you will. And of course, everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged, but in my perspective and my experience, um Margaret, I mean, not Margaret, but Margaret's bestie, the M&M squad over there, like, they did the same thing to me. Literally the same exact thing. And so it seems right that they would say that, but that it would not necessarily be the case, because I really think that Margaret would have posted something if she was going to bring her son up at the reunion, which we know she never talks about him anytime. We never see him on the show. He doesn't want anything to do with it. She's either pulling a wild card, like a Hail Mary. She overplayed her hand. And so now she's bringing that out, and she didn't actually file a police report. They're just saying that just to kind of add some sauce to the story, to really try to scare people, because when you say police report, it sounds a little bit more official. But really, anyone could go down to the police station right now, try it out, tell them you want to file a police report on your neighbor for blowing grass in your yard, whatever it is. um it it's crazy to do that to people. Thank you so much. Camille says you dealt with it with grace and dignity. By the way, that was a horrible thing to do for a small YouTube channel. Thank you. I felt the same way. That's why I felt like, they talk about rats in New Jersey, and I love, because Bo Deal was actually on David's Behind the Velvet Rope, and he starts to talk about the Wolf on Wall Street and how he wore a wire on his own people, and you can hear the anger in Bo, like, from his chest, because he's like very old school Italian, guys. When Joe Gorga tries to tell us that his violent temper is old school Italian, he's full of shit, okay? Go look at Bo Deal. Go look at just look at the photos of him and David. He is dressed in a suit. His shoes are shining. He has cufflinks. He looks like he smells of cigar and aftershave. Like, he is a well put together Italian man. He speaks of one of the biggest five crime families out of New York City. I didn't want to put that out anywhere else, like on Instagram, but if you guys go listen to the interview, he talks about one of the big five biggest Italian crime families to come out of the New York, New Jersey area. They're also the same crime family that is allegedly associated with the Manzos. And he mentions them in the interview, but he uses it as a question for David, like, because he says he hates rats. Like, Bo starts going off about how bad he hates rats and how the Wolf of Wall Street wore wire. And so it's so funny to me, because people are like, why would Joe and Melissa not, if they did give evidence to Monica or the IRS or the feds, why wouldn't they just say it, or did it, like, because in New Jersey, like, there are still old school Italian mentality people that know what a rat is, and they can't stand you for it. It doesn't matter if you did it against them, or you did it against their friend or their family member or a stranger on the street. Okay. They don't play that. But M and M are so far from that, because they actually tried to go to the police and file police reports and scare people. And it's pretty much, that's pretty much what you are. Like, that's pretty much both, pretty much calling them that. Like, you guys go to the police over a spoof phone call. Like, you're pretty much, I mean, you're not really a rat, but you are, in a way. Like, just my opinion. Anyways, you guys should go check out that interview. I thought it was really good. Again, Bo being like very old school Italian. He did a great job of talking about how he meets up. Well, he doesn't meet up, but he's having dinner. He runs into Melissa. She gives him the J Lo, allegedly, how she does the J Lo, because she's too good to talk to people. She's too good to talk to fans. She's too good to say hello to you if you're in the elevator with her, because she's very much, they say she comes off like she thinks that she's J-Lo. So I think she kind of gave him the J-Lo vibe. Like, oh, are you the man that's following me? And he was like, following you. Like, where is your husband at? I can't even speak with you. I can't even try to make sense with you. Where is your husband at? And so then he allegedly spoke to Joe Gorga. And I don't think that maybe they did their research on Bo Deal. Again, very old school. The people that he talks about in the interview are older actors and Goodfellas, if you guys remember, and the people that were involved in those rhetoric, very different from reality TV and very different from what we see from Joe Gorga. He's not a great representation of what old school Italian means or looks like. And I think that if you want to see that, you're going to see that with Bo, not with Joe. And if anything, it shows the space between old school Italian mentality and reckless, crazy, knows how to make homemade wine, and happens to be Italian. Oh, Camille says, I'm so serious, but David Yontef needs to replace Andy Cohen's stat. Listen, I am not about Andy Cohen necessarily like being replaced. I think Andy Cohen, it can be great. I think he has his hands in too many different places. The book, Watch What Happens Live, all of the reunions, Married to Medicine, taking on Real Housewives of Miami. It's just too much for any person. You have 2 children at home, you're a single father. Like, it's too much for anyone. And I am all about quality versus quantity. Like, give him a sidekick, host a couple of reunions and things together, and then let him maybe host some of the lower rated franchises, and Andy Cohen, keep going with the higher level ladies, and break some of it up for him, because it's just too much. And he doesn't put the effort into some of the Housewives franchises that he will maybe for like Beverly Hills reunion or New Jersey reunion. He doesn't put that same effort in some of the other franchises. Like with Dallas, he did it. He would come onto the reunion, he wouldn't remember things that were said in confessionals or whatever the case may be. So Andy knows where where everyone has a place on Andy's priority list, and it's pretty much on how much you're giving to the network, how much money you're making them, and that's how much he's going to give back. So when you have a franchise like Atlanta, who is the heart, like one of the first franchises, like, we have a lot of love and respect for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but we see no press for them ever. We see they had to pay for their own photos last year. We don't see them going on nice vacations. They went, it's just, it's like sometimes they sabotage themselves. And I don't know if it's Andy Cohen and he has, again, his favorites of housewives who do what for him, but it would be great to see somebody come along, be able to help, even like, it's hard to just host something by yourself. It's nice to have somebody completely different. And this is why Carlos King and David Yontef work really well. And I think even Carlos would work well with a woman, because, they say, this is like so crazy, but like it, they vibe together, because even in a weird way, like, you can have something in common as like, okay, like, you're both males, so you both understand like male, chauvinism, but like you feel, what is the word I'm looking for? Not disrespected, but discriminated against in another. So that's why I think we see David and Carlos work so well together. That's why I think that actually Carlos and Andy, if they could come together, they could rule Bravo TV. I think that definitely Carlos is coming for Andy's job, and he has been for the last couple of years. He's been slowly making his way up. But I don't know if that is even an option after everything that transpired with Atlanta. But I think that there's a big calling for Carlos King in the Real Housewives community. He has proven himself to be an amazing producer. His name is on some of one of the biggest, highest, most popular franchises and episodes ever. Because if you guys don't know, he was on New Jersey with Teresa, and then he was on Atlanta, some of the best seasons. So, I mean, I think that Andy has his hand in too many things. He's got too much going on, and he needs to, quality over quantity, bring somebody in, let him show them the ropes, and make him be a team player. Andy's like an only child. Can you see that now that I say that? Like, Andy's an only child. He is. Allegedly, he's out and about enjoying Pride Week, and there was some footage of him that came up from him being like in a bar and he had a little a pretty young thing on his lap, and he was stroking the chest area. And Bravo and Blaze made me laugh so hard because she commented on it, and she was like, damn, like uh my tipple hurts just watching this. Like, he was like rubbing it so hard. Like, damn. A lot of people commenting on that. I think it was actually Kempire that I saw the video circulating on Twitter. I'm not People were giving him a hard time, but I really wasn't sure why. I don't know if it was something that he said in a previous video about Andy Cohen, but he showed it, and I think it was just all in good fun. We don't really see Andy out and about much with other guys, and so it went big, you know. Let me go back here and look at some comments. I tuned in late, so I'm going back to the beginning. Oh, hey, Deb. KRH, Joe Gorga reminds me of someone that has been punched too many times in the head. Andy runs Bravo like a toxic mean girl burn book vibe. I agree with you 100%, Camille. I've done videos before. You guys know that well. I say, like, Andy is like the mean girl. He is the Regina George, and the other ladies fall in suit. Again, Tamra trying to stay in good graces with Andy Cohen, trying to come back on the Real Housewives of Orange County and bring something unique or something that's going to bring ratings back to Orange County. She is holding on by a thread too, even though she was brought back. And so she goes on Watch What Happens Live, and she uses the opportunity to shade Teresa Giudice because everyone saw the reunion where Andy sort of treated Teresa very, very different than the way we have seen him treat her previously. So I think that was a go ahead for some of the ladies to come for Teresa, because again, when Andy Cohen has a favorite and he's protecting someone, the other ladies have a tendency to back off because they don't want to make him angry. But when he starts to get a new favorite and he's pushing Teresa off to the side, then the other ladies follow suit. It's kind of like the lunch table. Um, Lying, cheating, ass, MG, so fake, phony, the biggest liar in Housewives franchise. Then Portia is next in line. Andy gives me that can't sit with us vibe, and that's how he runs Bravo. What? Thank you. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You can't sit with us vibe. Andy Cohen definitely gives us the you can't sit with us vibe. And he needs to be able to share, and he needs to understand where he is best. Like, he obviously has amazing talent. He was like executive producer before he was even everything that he is now. I read like a really great article on him before, like right when the Housewives franchises were first starting, you know, and Andy was already very well endowed in executive producer reality world. So the man has a ton of talent, but we can't see it when you are pulled so through. Like, I don't know if it's greed, I don't know if it's money, I don't know if it's just being in the mix, I don't know what it is, but he's just like can't stop. And I think that we don't get a quality version of him. Sometimes he does really great, and you'll be like, wow, he did that was a great interview, and other times not the same. We see him showing a lot of favoritism with the Housewives, as far as not just favoritism outside of the Housewives circumstances, favoritism when it comes to questioning, favoritism when it comes to the lineup of who gets the harshest of questions and who gets an easy out. I mean, how can you really feel like you're heard if you're on a stage and your boss is disrespectful to you and you're speaking and Rachel's talking over you, saying, Andy, make it stop? Like, people want to see a genuine fairness. We understand that Andy Cohen is obviously going to have his favorites. We get that. But when you're questioning them about the reunion and the year and everything that transpired, I think viewers would appreciate a little bit more of a medium of somebody that can give the same questions to each side and see it be a little bit more fair. He thinks things won't go without him. He's afraid someone will do better. I think that's true too, Lisa. I think that he gets scared that someone could do better. And that's where he needs to be like, I'm Andy effing Cohen. Like, you know, he has his own talents, and like I said, his experience and what he does well as it comes to, and it pertains to the Real Housewives, and or producing or picking housewives, or the, you know, Watch What Happens Live. Like, Watch What Happens Live, one has the potential to be really, really, it has the potential, guys. Like, we get the housewives fresh out of the episode. He usually does a great job lining up the questions because it's fresh, and I think he probably listens to it on his way to the studio or something. If you guys caught Drew Sidor last night on Watch What Happens Live, but it still needs freshened up. Like, you're even the stage, everything is old. Like, you need to come in there, do some spring cleaning, get your schedule together, get somebody in there to help him do other reunions, help with Watch What Happens Live, help them be comedic. Who cares if they hate each other? It could be funny, actually. I mean, Andy Cohen has forced these housewives to work in environments where they hate each other to get content. Give him a castmate that he hates. Bravo. Go behind his back. Hire Anderson Cooper. I don't think we really want to see Anderson Cooper. Okay, hire Carlos King behind his back. Bring in Carlos. Don't tell him about it till a week ahead of time. Tell him, by the way, next week, Carlos King's going to start filming with you. Yep. And sign here. Because then I think that his ass would be getting it together. I would like to see Housewives shows to become better, not worse. They will not improve if Andy and Carlos are stirring the pot and sitting back grinning at their own messes come to life, in my opinion. It's like he feels threatened by force manipulators like Trey, Nene, and Vicky. He's almost like a Joe Gorga, but without being on a franchise. I love that, Yo-Yo. That's a great point. Andy needs to go, yes, to Carlos King. I think Lisa Rinna has a reality TV genius, and they just didn't let her do her art. She was going somewhere with her character. I was all for the exposed Hilton journey. I completely agree with this comment as well. I think that Bravo, I don't think it was necessarily Lisa Rinna's fault because we literally got no audio of Kathy. We got nothing. Okay. Allegedly, we know that she was outside of a shop in Aspen screaming on her phone that afternoon because somebody in Aspen had caught it on film. Okay. Then that night, she has a breakdown. We don't see the breakdown at the bar. We don't get any cell phone footage. We don't get any footage in the car. We don't get any footage when we get back to the house. We get a little tiny text message. So a lot of times I think it's Bravo doing their own content or their own people dirty. But I think that Kathy, this is why you cannot have housewives that have FU money. David Yontef started the FU money. I carry it along because I like the saying. If somebody like Kathy Hilton who has FU money, she puts cease and desist in place. She had attorneys. Like, you're not going to be able to push. It doesn't matter if you have her sign off on everything in the world. Money talks. Rick and Kathy are big time. Okay, you're not gonna expose Kathy. Like, there's none. Bravo is not going to help anyone expose Kathy Hilton. They're just not. And so, unfortunately, I think Lisa was either self-sabotaging herself, like she was going to go after the big one. And I appreciate because she had the balls to do it, and none of the other women definitely would not have done what she did. And I think she was either like, I'm going to go big or I'm going to go home. That's kind of how I feel. But that's just my opinion. Let's see here. This says, Deb, Carlos made history with Nene, Teresa, and Danielle. He brought out the best in each of them, and those are the seasons we fans will always remember. Yo-Yo, very true that he is listed as, like, he was executive producer on they did like a top 10 episodes out of all of the franchises, and then they did like a top 10 seasons out of all of the franchises, and he was listed like as producer on the top 4 of like both charts. So he was Danielle's producer when she slid the book on the table flipping. Then he went down to Atlanta. So I would just like to see Andy Cohen work with someone that they don't have to hate each other in that way, but in a way that, I don't know, that could just be lighthearted, competitive, just like how the Housewives are. not like a yes person. I don't want to see another yes person. I get tired of seeing yes people. I don't want to see another Jen Fessler. I don't like to see that. A lot of people agree, like when you have two people that come on the show or you have these alliances between women, it doesn't make for good housewives. I don't want to see Jen Fessler come on and yes and co-sign everything for Margaret. I don't want to see Lexi come on and co-sign yes everything for Margaret. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to see Rachel come on and be a yes person and co-sign everything for Melissa. I watched Melissa and Rachel's after show. I posted some of it on my Instagram. I might have showed you guys some. I might even play some of it because it was literally so obnoxiously fake that I barely could like stomach it. Please tell me somebody else knows what I'm talking about. It was whenever she was doing the after show with Rachel, they were doing questioning, and it was when they were talking about the smoking of the trees at Margaret's house, and Melissa starts to say that Joe is not a drugger. He's never been a drugger, yada, yada, yada. And Rachel busts out laughing. Like, it takes her a second to look at Melissa and realize that Melissa's being serious, right? And you can kind of see that eye exchange happening. And then I don't know if it was prior to that or after that, they're talking about when they were on the girls' trip and they had the party for Teresa and they went to the camp with the chickens and the goats and everything, and they had to jump into that muddy pit. And Melissa was like, "Oh my gosh, what if I want to step in and she like yelled like ah, like the fakest thing I've ever heard in my life. Please let me have posted it. If not, I'm gonna find it for you guys. Because it was crazy. Like, it was so fake. And I feel like it's like she keeps going because Rachel's there. Because she's co-signing for her. So it's like giving Melissa the go ahead because everything that she says, uh Rachel's co-signing for her, right? I mean, that's so crazy to me. But that's just my opinion. Sorry, I just saw this thing for season 5. What is this? Oh, maybe that was Vanderpump Rules. I was like, wait, that doesn't look familiar to me. Anyway, guys, I would encourage you guys to go check it out. It's going to be part 2, season 3, episode 15, after show with Melissa and Rachel. I'm going to slowly play it over here. If it comes to the clip that I'm referencing, I will let you guys know. But I don't think that it's going to be on this one. But that's just a great example of, like, again, production puts them all together for the same exact, why not mix it up a little bit? I guess they don't want to have them in the after show as enemies because they want them to, like, of course, be honest. And it was nice to see Dolores and Teresa in an after show together, and Danielle and Jennifer. But I don't know. It's just my opinion. Camille said, or Yoga says, Camille, Louie will be vindicated. It will take a bit, but it will happen. The pieces must be put together to make it make sense. But with people like Lindsay, David, and us who do our homework, it will happen. I always encourage everyone to go over to, it was actually my friend who told me about it. Docking Bravo, 3-part series on Louie. It's in her stories. It is the best deep dive, as in receipts, transactions, newspaper clippings, statements. Like, you're not getting gibberish, you're not getting rumors, you're getting papers, you're getting receipts, you're getting newspaper articles, you're getting photos, you're getting everything from Louie from the time that he graduated high school until now. So if you're interested in Louie or you're hearing stuff and you want to find out for yourself, I'm somebody who likes to research things myself. People can tell me things. I appreciate it. Lead me in the right direction. I've always done that with my viewers when there are things that I didn't necessarily want to discuss, but that were out there. I would lead you guys, tell you, go Google it, Reddit, put in a little bit of your own legwork, and it will really, I think, help you to understand. There's a lot of, I think that the people that do their own homework a little bit are the ones that usually have the the clearest perception of maybe what we're dealing with here. So, and I know all of you guys are great private investigators. We're always digging, looking, hunting, because these people try to play us, and that's a problem for us, right? In New Jersey, it's a problem if you come on the show and you change your last name and you don't tell us. We're going to find it out. Like, it's New Jersey. It is Housewives. We are, you know, like I said, the best private investigators. Like, I like Bo, but he ain't got shit on any of us. So I think that it makes it difficult because we continue to see people come on the Real Housewives of New Jersey with bullshit, and it makes it hard for us to trust Louie, because when we hear things that are suspicious or about the ex or this or this or that, it'll make you raise a couple of eyebrows. And so that's why it's good to go check out the 3-part series on Bravo, Bravo, Ducking Bravo, and then you can make your own opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you can read over the documents with his ex and Paula and Vanessa and everything that transpired, and the money transactions. I mean, I think just seeing the conversations and the relationship between Vanessa and Louie, if it did anything, it vindicated that Louie is well off financially, with or without Teresa, with or without the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Frank Catania also said that on the Two T's in a Pod podcast. He said that from the beginning, that Louie is very well off, very. And maybe the show has caused him to take a hit, but regardless, he's well off. He makes good money. So that in itself, if you actually have money and you're not faking it like everyone else on that cast, that's like 5 stars to me, because right now everyone on that cast is faking money that they don't have. We know that they all have lawsuits, with the exception of Jennifer Aiden, because Bill's a doctor, right? Jackie Goldschneider, she's not full time. We know she has family money. We know both her parents served in federal penitentiaries as well. Maybe that's why she had such a like vindictive side to Teresa. See, we see these women that have issues with their parents, and then they take it out on everyone else. Thank you so much. I just appreciate you. I keep you in my pocket today. Make you come around with me and tell me nice things. These women, I was like thinking about it because, Margaret, she like grew up with maybe a mother she had a young mother in the 70s, and she talked about like her mom drinking and going out a lot. We know Marge Sr. still likes to go out and drink a lot. And so we see Margaret get really upset with Jennifer if Jennifer and Bill drink too much, if they get drunk. She doesn't like Jennifer. She made comments about her smoking legal cannabis and calling her a raging drug addict. But is it a reflection of her childhood? Like, she didn't have a great childhood with her mom, and so that's triggering to her. Like, a drunk mother, like if Jennifer's drunk, even though Jennifer's not around her kids for some reason, that's triggering to Margaret. Like Joe Gorga being drunk, Melissa being drunk, all of that, none of them being drunk, that doesn't really bother her for some reason. Whatever it is with Jennifer, it is triggering to her, right? And then I want Jennifer to be my friend too. But she won't be. She won't be. Then we have Melissa. We know how they treated me after even knowing everything that had transpired, that I came home and have dedicated my life and my career to advocating, and that's what I do for a living, for women who are suffering with mental health or drug addiction issues, and they're trying to reestablish and reintegrate back into society and be successful. Like, I do it for a living. So to like discriminate against me is to discriminate against anyone else that's like had a second chance. And so I think that issue may come from her father. I think there's issues between, we know that Melissa shared a little bit on the show about like her dad and stuff, and he died when she was young, and that was traumatic for her. That was probably very, very traumatic, very, very triggering for her. I'm sure in some way it probably also correlates to her relationship with her husband for whatever reason it may be. But then we have Jackie, and we have Jackie's parents who may or may not allegedly have served prison time, right? And what was Jackie's comments to Teresa always? Like, if they were arguing, she was always going to come at Teresa with some jail shit, with some jail comments, with some if you could control your husband, would he be in jail? Or your, what did she say in New Jersey? She called her something else about jail. She really, really loved to throw jail in Teresa's face any chance she got. And that's why when they were on the retreat for her bachelorette party, before they drew the scenes for Teresa, she had to look at them and say, "Can y'all be nice to me and not literally bring up the most traumatic thing I've ever went through in my life, which was going to prison? Thank you." Like, it's bullshit that she had to do that. And that really should let all of us as viewers know the kind of caliber of women that she is being forced to work around, right? But back to Jackie's parents, allegedly they've had to serve prison time, okay? And what do we see from her? We see the comment after dig about jail or prison and this, that. It's a reflection of issues they have with their parents. Like, what do they call it? Like the mother wound, or the family wound, the father wound, whatever the case is. It's very, very real. And I think that that is sometimes what we're seeing on the Real Housewives, and we don't even realize it. But I definitely believe that 100% when it comes to Margaret, because she put her whole mom's business out there on the show, guys. Like, we talk about Jennifer talking to her mom about, her and her father's relationship, which is at least, like, they've been together all these years, and their culture is foreign to us, as in like their marital process. Like, Jen and Bill have an arranged marriage. And so it's like, it is interesting to see her mom's take on it after all of these years. But Margaret, I felt like, used her mom for a storyline, and she did it by, like, kind of what, if you guys watch the Real Housewives of Potomac, then you guys know who I'm talking about. But Mia from the Real Housewives of Potomac has a mother who's in recovery, who dealt with issues with addiction, I think for like 20 some years. She's been clean. I don't know the exact numbers, but she was doing good. And Mia brought her on the show, and I don't know if the conversation, it seemed a little bit of a forced conversation here and there about the past and the issues, and it was a little bit of a storyline, and people were really upset about it. However, if you hop over to the Real Housewives of New Jersey, you will surely see that Margaret allegedly used her mom and her struggle of being a single mom in the 70s, raising a daughter by herself, and used that to somehow create a narrative and a storyline for herself. We see it happen all the time. Like, we've seen it happen on the Jeff Lewis podcast. She literally dogged her mother and dogged. She was like, "Oh, Marge Senior, she doesn't have great teeth. That's why she can't get. That's why. That's why. I'm just letting everyone know we're getting her new teeth. So don't let it be the teeth that stops you." And if Jeff Lewis calls you an asshole, you surely must be an asshole, because Jeff Lewis is Jeff Lewis. So for him to look at Marge and be like, "Wow, you're an asshole." Yeah. And I think her mom feeling like, obviously there's some guilt there. Maybe Margaret's made her feel bad after all of the things that she said about her childhood and how she grew up, right? And so her mom just takes it because she feels bad and she loves her daughter, and she doesn't understand the resentment, right? We see the resentment with Margaret. Do you guys see I see the resentment that Margaret has towards her mother coming out in the show, and she used it as a storyline. And that's why she's triggered by Jennifer Aiden. Fight me on it. Margaret needs to stop deflecting. Margaret's in trouble, guys. Let me tell you why Margaret's in trouble. Number one, Margaret was not very much to do with the reunion, okay? She didn't have a lot of lines, if you will. I'm really trying to find this stupid after show for you guys because I really want you to hear it. After show. Let's pull this up. What are they talking about? I cannot find it. I'm sorry, guys. I'll probably, of course, find it as soon as I hop off of here. I'll have no problem finding it then. That's how it always goes. Oh my goodness, damn it. That's how it always goes. Right? Um, Also, guys, rumors about the fact that, again, talking about Margaret, things are not well for her. Allegedly, she is telling the network she doesn't want to film with Louie. She doesn't want anything. She's not comfortable. That's not going to go over well with producers. You know what producers don't, after everything that y'all have done this season. And yes, again, I think this is the ladies making moves while they think that Bravo or production or producers are upset with Teresa, because this rumor that's going around about allegedly it was a story that Louie allegedly paid a publicist who then brokered out the job to somebody else and didn't make them sign an NDA or anything, to do the smear campaign. That we didn't really see a smear campaign on Margaret, did we? I didn't see a smear campaign on Margaret. But the last thing the network wants to hear is, okay, allegedly Louie and Teresa were doing this behind everyone's back, so they nip it in the ass, right? That would have been months and months ago. And I just think that they think that that network is like not upset, but like that again, Teresa's just not automatically in everyone's good graces because of issues with maybe Louie and the network. Who knows? We do know that Louie is very much a business person. We know that Teresa has, I think that she had like a jewelry line or something she was going to come out with. There were issues with Louie and whoever, and it didn't end up working out. Does that mean that Louie's hard to work with? No, it just means that we're adding another person into the equation. And Louie, I think, is a little bit more vocal than Joe Giudice was, right? Joe Giudice really wasn't into the show. Joe Giudice didn't mind the benefits of the show, surely not, but he wasn't in there trying to, really manage Teresa or even pretend like that was his area. Like you can see Joe Giudice on Juicy Joe when he does the reunions. He's uncomfortable. Like he's in a suit. He's sitting there. He's like answering questions. Like he didn't pretend to be TV network executive producer, manager to Teresa, knows all, best decision maker type of guy. Like I really think that him and her kind of learned along the way because again they helped build the franchises. But I think that he really let Teresa and her team and her management and her publicists and her people kind of lead the way when it came to her books. It came to her cookbooks. I don't think Joe Giudice was giving her tons and tons of input or putting leaning one way or the other, right? I think he was kind of like, either way, whatever, I'll support you. And so I think that it's difficult to go from a husband who says, I will just support, doesn't really care one way or the other, not in a bad way. But then you have another one who is maybe more hands on and you appreciate the fact that they are engaged and interested in what you do and is involved and you can talk to them about it, but maybe they're too involved in the decision making and then you feel like you're having to add them into the equation now as well, and producers are having to deal with the issues. And I really think that New Jersey they need to put all of the men in the back burners, quit. I really think that Bravo has just tried to monetize off of the Real Housewives husbands because for a couple of years they had a good thing going and they screwed it up like they do everything. And for that reason, they just keep trying every year again, giving us this Housewives husband. And after everything that just came out about John Fuda, his last name changed, knowing Joe since 2006, I don't know. I think the franchise needs to be really, really careful. I think that, yeah, they need to figure it out. I think they're trying to starve the girls out. I think everyone we know, guys, everyone's living paycheck to paycheck on that cast, except for in the exception of Teresa and Louie, likely. But again, they have 6 kids, okay, and like three are in college or something crazy like that. So even if Teresa and Louie aren't living paycheck to paycheck and they make, great money, I'm again with all of the girls and their educations, that's a lot of money every year. It's a lot of money every year for college. So I think, we know Margaret, she allegedly is struggling. Um, they're going to starve them out and try to get them to get along. And every week that goes by and every paycheck they don't have, and every day that filming is not started, these women are thinking, yeah, like every day they're gonna get closer to making up and being able to film together because they're gonna need the money, honey. They're gonna need the money, honey. That's the truth. They're going to need the money. Let me see here if this is it.
Oh my god, that's this is like frat boy stuff. John was new to the group.
Again, and then we have like housewives who are not full. Like, we need an order. I don't know. We had a lot of commentary from Jackie and from Jen Fessler this season that I felt like could have been like left out. I just wasn't into what they were saying. Again, co-signing Margaret, co-signing what she was saying. Let's see. Let's read some comments, guys. Jeff Lewis is another man talking about women. He has a lot of problems of his own dealing with women on air because he has a problem with basic respect and personal agency. I mean, I am not agreeing or disagreeing by any means, and that was my example of what I'm saying. Like, Jeff Lewis is harsh on women on his show. You're right. He can be harsh, and that's probably a nice way of putting it. So if Jeff Lewis is harsh on a regular basis and he sees somebody else and it actually in his head it goes off as, wow, that was really harsh, then it says something, because it's like, this man's already callous to harshness. He's already a harsh person as it is. So if he sees something and says it's harsh, it's got to be pretty harsh. Camille, he's monetized now. I'd love to know who messed him up. I'm assuming we're talking about the Real Handy BH on YouTube, who recently just started his own podcast. He woke up one day to his YouTube channel completely demonetized. I'm sure after hours and hours and hours of trying to reach someone at YouTube and days and days and days, he was able to find out what videos were reported and kind of eliminate who he thought it could be potentially by the number of videos or the content in the videos that were reported. I am going to tell you guys that allegedly they have a computer whiz, a part of their team. And so that's why it's not necessarily somebody with Instagram or somebody with Twitter or somebody with YouTube. That's why it happens on multiple platforms. Okay, multiple different ways, because it's actually like a computer guru, genius, whatever, on their team that takes care of these things. I was hacked in May by a device in New Jersey on my Instagram. And then like 2 days later, somebody under my account tried to sell it back to me for $1,000. So weird. But yeah, allegedly there's somebody in their family, part of the crew, part of the team, right? We know that Melissa and Margaret allegedly share a publicist already because the funds are tight. So we're sharing a publicist. We're going to share a computer whiz. Just seems like an M or M type of move. Don't know though. I completely agree. That's what I was thinking. Completely agree. Camille, the Real Andy, is back. He's going to do more on Patreon to avoid being demonetized. I'm happy for him. He's been inspiration to all of us. He started out in his car, and this is the kind of things that piss me off when it comes to these women in the franchise, and it gets me frustrated with Bravo as a whole, because they don't hold these women to any sort of accountability, and it frustrates me because Bravo and the Housewives are making money every time bloggers post about them. Anytime Stan accounts, Twitter, Instagram are posting and bringing light to any of the Housewives or the franchises, other people are making money off of it. And you have these talent that comes in, pays bots, pays bot farms, pays whomever, computer wizards, to hack accounts, get accounts demonetized, and Bravo doesn't care. They just go about their day, make their money, and keep it pushing. And so for people like Andy, and I would consider myself as well, he started making videos in his car 3 years ago. He's been building this for 3 years. He started with nothing. Okay. Nothing. 30,000, from nothing to 30,000. That's a lot of hard work. That's a lot of content. That's a lot of dedication. This was his money. Okay. So when you come after people like that, you're not a good person. Like, you're pretty terrible people to be doing that, going out. And again, we don't see them going after huge accounts, right? We don't see them targeting big accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers. Why not? They're all saying the same thing. Everything that I said, eventually everyone else picked up on too, right? So why is it just the, you know, if we are such BCD level YouTubers, then why even bother? Why send us cease and desist? Why get us demonetized? Why hack our accounts? I had 2.6 million traffic through my Instagram with 20,000 followers. Like 2.6 million. Okay. Like, followers aren't everything, but it's still the point that you can't take somebody like Andy, who literally started from the ground up, has been putting this together by himself for 3 years, and be a part of taking his income. Like, that's wrong. That's dead ass wrong. You cannot do that to people. Not to mention, it's like so wrong, muddies the water for everyone when it comes to the network. It's bad for the network, it's bad for the viewers, it's bad for the content creators, it's bad for everyone. The only person that it you always what did Lisa Vanderpump and Kyle Richards teach us in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when it comes to selling stories to the press? Do you guys remember? Read the article and see who it benefits, and that will tell you who leaked it. So let's look at this position, look and see who Andy was talking about and who it would benefit the most if he didn't talk anymore. It's a process of elimination. It's very obvious to a lot of us, which means it's obvious to Bravo, which means obvious to Bravo producers, obvious to Andy, obvious to Cyrus, Evolution, ITV. They know what's going on. Everyone alleges everyone's all huffy and puffy about Teresa and Louie and this publicist, but these women have been out here all year, 4 years, getting bots after people, doxing people, hacking people. Like, it's insane out here in these streets of Instagram. And it just seems like it continues to be like the bloggers that pay the price. Like, there's a lot of information that the bloggers bring to the table for viewers. Like, every blogger has their own source, their own information, and maybe one may be bigger or popular or have more followers than another, but it doesn't mean that their information is better or even that they have more information than the next person, because guess what? We all have different sources. We get so many DMs from different people. Other people like certain people more than others, and that's okay. But this information that I have is not going to be the same information that David Yontef has. It's going to be the same information that the real Andy has. We all have different sources. That's what makes it so great. And people like M with their computer whiz going over here and taking, getting rid of content creators' accounts and demonetizing them and hacking them is complete bullshit. And that's my opinion. But my opinion has not been in favor of Bravo lately, right? So do you believe Teddy Watercamp that LVP stole the article? I don't know if I do or not, to be honest. She probably did. I think that Lisa was pulling herself too thin. Again, I think that she was doing Beverly Hills and she was running the restaurants and she was doing Vanderpump Rules, right? And I think that she didn't realize, I don't know, it was so messy. It was so messy because Teddy was she wasn't directly plotting with Lisa at first. She was trying to get her brother on Vanderpump Rules. And so she was going and dropping her kids off at dance class or dance studio. And she would go over to Vanderpump Dogs, which was like next door. And she would hang out with John, Lisa Vanderpump's right hand man. I can't remember his name. And they allegedly started plotting about all of this, right? I don't know. I think Lisa just got messy on accident. I really do. I think that she didn't like Kyle and Dorito getting close either. I think that bothered her a little bit, which I can kind of understand. But at the same time, I think that also Lisa was probably really pissed off at Dorit, because let's not forget that Dorit had gotten a dog prior to that, if you don't remember. And she ended up returning the dog to Vanderpump because I think it was like a sheltered dog. The dog had been abused, and the dog, wouldn't leave her closet and would only be with Dorit. And so they ended up having to return the dog. And then I don't know if the next dog was Lucy Apple Juicy, or if there was another dog that she took home, it didn't work out, they returned, and then they got the third dog. And so Dorit says she thought she gave it to somebody that was going to love it and take care of it, and it ended up in a kill shelter. And so I do feel like, to Lisa Vanderpump, to us, it is sad and outrageous. But at the same time, to somebody like Lisa, who is an advocate for dogs, and all the work that she does all over the country and China for dogs and animal rights, it was like a slap in the face, right? It's like the same, like how passionate I get when people discriminate against um, felons or people in recovery or mental health, because I already have a soft place for them, and I already work so hard in my own community to stop discrimination. And she works hard in her own community to stop kill shelters, and then her friend takes a third dog and takes it to a kill shelter. She was probably pissed. I do think she was probably pissed. And here's the thing, I think that they should have been thanking her, because they gave them a whole storyline. I don't think that Dorit got harassed, or she really tried to make it seem, if you guys remember, like that the people, like animal rights people, were coming after her, like they were gonna jump her car or something. Like she was acting terrified. And I think that Lisa did the right thing by leaving, because those women, Kyle's a silent producer. Speaking of Kyle, if you guys want, we have a few more minutes. We can talk a little bit about how Kim Richards' daughter was married in Aspen this weekend, and we saw all three sisters, Kim, Kyle, and Kathy, getting along and singing karaoke one night together, all three of them. And then we see them at the wedding sitting together. And then we also see Kyle and Kathy at the same bar. Well, was it a bar or a hat shop that had a bar in it? The Kimosabi store. Um, Smiling with Kathy's tequila and getting along, right? Someone was commenting like, you need to go, we got to go check on Renna, right? Renna was like, you don't got to check on me. Don't check on me. I'm over here. And she put out a video talking about Amazon Live, posting some of her favorite items. It was a cute short video. One of the questions somebody asked her was, what is life like now without the housewives? And she was like, stress free, honey, stress free. My life is stress free. So Kim, Kathy, and Kyle have all put bygones aside, as it seems, for the family wedding, and everyone attended, all the cousins and the nieces. And allegedly, Nikki was stuck in Colorado overnight. She was asking about dinner, if anyone had any suggestions on dinner reservations. Nikki is married to a Rockefeller. She's Kyle's favorite niece, too. Yeah, like the Rockefellers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just saying. Just saying. Anyways, it was really cute because Kathy commented directly on her post, on her daughter Nikki's post, and was like, ask Dana to call the concierge and ask so and so, because she lives there and she'll be able to give you great dinner reservations. And people were just like laughing, because we're like, gosh, Kathy, she also has doxed herself, put her own phone number out there. But it was funny to see the ladies all getting along. uh Kim looked great. She looked amazing. She looked healthy. I'm not sure which daughter is getting married. She has several daughters. One of them is married to the family of the In-N-Out Burgers. They have a lot of money. Kim did well with marrying for money. Okay. Her in-laws own the Beverly Hilton, not the Beverly Hilton, the Beverly Hills Hotel. They own it. Just saying. So anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Make sure that you guys hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to my channel. Turn your notifications on. Here's the thing, guys. I always bring my tea to my YouTube channel first before I put it out there anywhere else. I like to come on and do a live with you guys and chat and take questions from anyone that has questions. I'm happy to answer. But I am going to be putting out some other content for you guys and do a couple short videos that will not be conversational. They're just short, sweet, and to the point. One of the videos we're going to talk about Giudice and her divorce, so make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. I also am going to include a little bit about Eva. Do you guys remember Eva from Real Housewives of Atlanta? She is getting divorced from Mike. I was very surprised to hear that. It seems like it was kept very quiet in the press, and very surprising to me. Drew Sador. And then I'm also going to be doing my review on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Hopefully I can get it finished today. Yeah, Eva, I can't believe she was getting divorced, and Mike allegedly got a DUI a couple months or a year before that, which was surprising because we know he was like running for mayor of Atlanta, very political. Not sure what's going on there. So, also, what else did I have for you guys I wanted to tell you about? Did we talk about the new home reveal of Melissa and Joe that they did review or disclose their new home? Have you guys taken a look at it? What are your thoughts? I did see it. I posted photos for you guys to take a look on Instagram and Twitter. I think it looks 100 times better, like 100 times better than before. Whoever was like saying in the comments, you don't have a builder do your design, chef's kiss. You're completely correct. Don't have your builder do your design work, or you have a house like what they ended up with, right? The home is okay. It's pretty. It's pretty, right? I think that because we're comparing it to what it was before, we're like, woo, yeah, girl. Yes, yes, yes. Good job. But also only because we're kind of comparing it to the previous remodel, right? Which isn't really what the original house even looked like. It was like they bought the house, remodeled, showed everyone hated it. They said, okay. And then they remodeled again. So we're kind of going off of the last remodel with all of the peaks, and people were not liking all of those peaks on the house. They took all of those off. It's all flat now. It sort of reminds me of the house that Courtney and Scott Disick, I don't know if it was really their house when they were filming the Real House or filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians when they were still together in the early years when they had their kids. It sort of reminds me of that home a little bit, but definitely 100 million times better. The landscaping alone can make a huge, huge difference with a home. Their landscaping was on point, and somehow they had patio furniture. They did not get it from the same patio furniture from the same place as 3 years ago, but they did have patio furniture. Also, I wanted to say, this is what else I wanted to bring up too. We saw Melissa Gorga allegedly wearing the same outfit as Teresa Giudice for Antonia's graduation. So I'm just going to give you guys a really quick recap on this because I didn't want to go over an hour. Make sure you guys hit that like button. But basically, we saw Teresa Giudice go to Gia's college graduation, and she did a little video with Melania. She talked about what she was wearing, who her designer was. She looked amazing. She had on like linen pants with a matching pinstriped linen shirt and matching jacket. Killing it. Looked amazing. This was like, I don't know, a month ago, probably. Literally a week ago, out steps Melissa Gorga to Antonia's graduation in the same exact pants, not the same shirt or jacket. She just got the pants, not the whole suit, whole set. She added her own cream shirt and then layered a cream blazer with shoulder pads, which I thought to look a little bit too heavy for a summer graduation. Like Antonia was in this little white dress like summer, and Melissa had on like a heavier blazer with shoulder pads and the slacks, and they did not look like they had been ironed. Okay. So people really tearing her up about the fact that she wore the same outfit. Like, do you guys get like how kind of messed up that is? Because she knew what Teresa wore. We all knew what she wore. We all saw it. And even if she didn't, isn't that what your stylist is for, or your like your assistant and stuff? Like, aren't there people overlooking this stuff so that you're not going out and wearing the same exact outfit as Teresa after she wears it, when people already say that you copy everything that she does? I mean, you're just giving it validity. That's what's frustrating about Melissa and Joe sometimes. They're like, they give stuff validity because they do it right in front of your face, and then they look at you like, what? I don't copy her. Me? Never. I'm so original. Just like the Page Six article when it came out and said that Teresa and Louie were copying Melissa and Joe's house. Do you guys remember that? Louie and Teresa had they had already had Bravo camera crew there, went through, they filmed the whole house. The house was gorgeous. They were having their home party or whatever. And remember, Joe was butthurt. He was pissed. He didn't even go to the housewarming party. And what story got leaked to Page Six? Oh, Louie and Teresa copying Melissa and Joe's entire house plan. Like, their house wasn't even done yet. Melissa and Joe's house wasn't even done yet, but they were rushing because Teresa and Louie were revealing their house to Bravo. Bravo was doing the house tour. We were seeing it during filming. We saw how amazing it looked, and they wanted people to think that Teresa and Louie copied off of them, not thinking that Teresa and Louie had a designer. And how disrespectful is that to the designer that you guys are trying to say they copied off of you? Just saying, you shouldn't do that. It'll get you in trouble. All right, guys. Again, I'll read a couple more comments, then we're going to cut this off, and hope everyone has a great Monday. Melissa could be an amazing pop star. She had potential to establish her own unique identity instead of creating a legacy as the tree cutter. You guys are killing me with your one. I agree, Camille. I do agree with you. She is a great entertainer. She put on a great show when she did the On Display song. She has had opportunities. It's like they just always are about like the quick money. It feels like they don't have like any long-term investments. Joe seems to have that mentality because he wants to buy apartment buildings and that. But like with her, we just have seen like little bits of, the face scrubber that she sells or the legging. I mean, it's not anything of like meat and potatoes, right? It's like something she believes in or something that's good or amazing. It's just like whatever is paying the bills today. That's it. Lisa Rinna is dangerous on so many levels. She even tries to mix up words across herself, blowing a kiss to Jesus like the Giudice girls. How much gaslighting do the Gorgas do? Thank you, Deb. And again, I just want to give you guys an example of a gaslighter. This is what I'm saying with the gaslighters. Joe and Melissa will do it right in front of our face and then be like, what? What do you mean? I don't copy her. And you're like, no, you're right here in this picture with these pants on. You're copying her. No, I'm not. I'm not copying her. You guys are so crazy. You're always coming for me. You just want to spew hate. And Teresa's always sticking her people on me. That's a gaslighter because they're like making you question your own reality versus somebody else. You're like, this is you wearing the pants. This is you. And they're like, okay, I'm sorry. I copied off you. I really liked them. I didn't know you were going to wear them to Gia's graduation. I wore them anyways. Got me. Moving on. But because they do it in front of our face and then they try to lie about it, people get frustrated. That's my opinion. And so that's why they just call it out more and more and more, because they're like, please just take some accountability. Please take some accountability. I'm just going to keep calling it out because we just want to see some accountability. Camila, was actually her sister who had a dream of being a singer. That's true. I don't believe Melissa hates Teresa as much as Joe seems to. I can't with gaslighters. Me either. Shayna, good as gold is fun, and Mel could have produced a few fun songs. She could have. Melissa steals from her sisters and Teresa because she doesn't know who she is. Oh, good. I'm glad that somebody gets my sense of humor. I appreciate that. Can we talk about how Mel won't let Joe speak at the reunion? I'm still annoyed. Absolutely, Camille. We've spoken about this before because I've showed interviews to you guys where they will be on the red carpet. I think even press has kind of got hip to this because when they were doing red carpets still, um, when they would go on the press walk, like press would specifically ask Joe a question and she would have to find a way to like interrupt and pull the conversation her way. The best one is an interview they do. I think it was like you see it best. I don't know what carpet they were walking. She's wearing like a sheer outfit. Hold on one second, see if I can find it. She doesn't let him talk because he messes up everything he says. I wouldn't let him talk either. Like that's probably the only smart thing that she does is not let him talk because seriously, like look at what he said to Jennifer. I mean, geez, you know what I'm saying? Oh, trying to find it for you guys. Anyways, it's very, very obvious that anytime we see Joe and Melissa together, I actually even just posted about this on my Instagram because I was reviewing an old Watch What Happens live commentary, and one of the tweets was why they were asking Melissa, why do you always speak for Joe? And so this has been a continuing thing that fans have noticed for years and for decades since Melissa and Joe came on the show. She's done the talking. Go back and watch through the episodes. She runs the narrative. She's the one, oh my gosh, at the christening. What does she tell Joe? She knows he's drunk. She knows he's mad. She knows there's tension. She knows everyone's fighting. And she's like, can you believe last week when we were at their christening that she literally came over there and ripped the baby out of my arms? I mean, she ripped the baby out of my arms. Like, go back and watch it. That's why I always am saying it's good to go back and watch the old episodes because you will see things that you didn't always see before. And unfortunately, Melissa has been able to get away with it. And I think it's contributed to probably part of his insecurity when it comes to the Real Housewives of New Jersey and why he got so mad at Jennifer when she called him like a bitch boy, or he gets mad when anyone calls him then like the housewife husband. That's why Bravo had to give him a paycheck and have his own contract. That's why he had to be the ringleader of all the guys and be the cool guy. That's why he had to start the House Husbands and try to get them a deal with another channel. Like he has loved Melissa so much, but she in return has like, she does things that I think make him feel less than. And she does it on a huge platform. People notice, people point it out. And even though he doesn't want everyone to know it bothers him, it does. Just like the cheating rumors. He was bothered, guys. I'm telling you. Melissa wants to act like everything was rainbows and butterflies. I'm telling you. Things aren't good over there. They're not good. On the show, the sad truth is she suffers from an identity problem. She will never stop. It's like Raquel from BPR. I agree with you. I think that you see this with narcissists sometimes. They are unable, they don't have their own identity. They really don't have a principle. It's not the hill they're going to die on because there's not a lot of principle there. And it's like, they're just mad because you're mad. And again, I think that she isn't someone who, I think it's always been about the money and the fame and keeping up and the material and so much pressure. I think sometimes I feel bad for Joe because I think that at one point he probably started out a decent human being and his intentions were good, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think that he had so much pressure on him from her to provide all of the things that she felt she deserved. And so much so that it cost him a lot of different things in life, and it set them back. And he measured his um they've measured Joe as a husband by what he's provided, if you notice. Like, Joe's a great husband because he provided me this lavish home, this lavish lifestyle. Joe's a good husband because he bought Antonia a Porsche for her 16th birthday. Joe's a good husband because we live in Franklin Lake's zip code. Joe's a good husband because, like, everything is watches, cars, money, bags, shoes. But once the money ran out, if you guys remember, and then they go on the show, they got to fake it on the show. But she knows that things aren't good with their money, and that's why when remember when they buy the shredder truck business, and she gets all dressed up in her heels, and she's gonna sell it to the masses, honey. They had their own sauce. We don't know what happened to that. They had their own restaurant. We don't know what happened to that. They had their own shredding business. We don't know what happened to that. She had workout gear. We don't know what happened to that. Like, no long-term investment. I've been watching season 1 on Peacock. She smiled during the entire reunion. I love watching old episodes. Me too. You know how they say you marry a person who's like your parent? I think this happened with Joey because Trey was like his mom growing up. Just a thought. Very much so. She emulates him on a grand scale so much for old school Italian. I agree, Lisa. She really is like SWF, except she's sort of. Agree. I agree with you. We were talking about mother wounds earlier in the episode, and how I have associated that with Margaret, and why she is so triggered by Jennifer, and why Jackie Goldschneider is so triggered by Teresa. It's the whole jail thing, the parents in jail thing. And I think that Joe and Teresa both of their spouses like built up their sibling, and it created some healthy jealousy. Like, it's okay sometimes, I think, it's natural to have jealousy, but like, how far do you let it go? How long do you let it stew? And yeah, like, once you start having kids, I don't know. Joe Gorga is a manual that he cannot be trusted to behave in public. Great TV, awkward. Much. He's a bigger jerk than Andy, so that's maybe why Andy likes him so much. I agree with you. You can't take him in public. Look at how he acted at BravoCon, at the hotel, and they didn't want to talk about that because he doesn't want to take accountability for it. He should have just came out and apologized a long time ago, and then maybe we wouldn't even be bringing it up. That's what he should have done. Was he should have just came out and apologized for it. Because then it makes Bravo Corp. It's basically Bravo is entering into contract with it if they're like, okay, we're not going to discuss it. Like, okay, then we don't want anyone to know. I guess it's an agreement. We don't talk about BravoCon then. Is that what we're saying? We don't want to apologize or make it right. We just want to pretend like it didn't happen. Got it. Okay. I think that Andy can definitely be an asshole too, probably behind the scenes, to the other Housewives ladies. And I think that we see that coming out more and more too. The more thinner that he stretched, the more places the more Watch What Happens Lives and reunions and books and press releases and all of this nonsense that he does when he's already a millionaire times 100, probably. Like, why? Why are you on the go? Are you guys what is it? I believe Bodil is German. Maybe he is, Lisa. He very much could be. But I think that he still has a very like good old boys style to him. As in like he ran with like the Italian gangsters. He also again mentioned loving the one of these big 5 named families. There's 5 main families that were responsible for actually like creating the entire Italian mob like organized crime. 5. And the Manzos are affiliated with one of those families, and so is Bo. So made man, right? We don't always have to be born into the mob or the mafia to work and run with Italian mobsters and pick up, their traits and stuff too. Because he was talking about like The Wolf on Wall Street. He was talking about Goodfellas. Goodfellas was one of my favorite movies. Angie just loves the macho bullshit about Joe. I agree with you. Bo Deal is a big man in Jersey and New York. LR is right. He probably is German then. That was my mistake. He just gives me the Italian vibe. I'm sorry, Bo. Don't be mad. All right, guys. Well, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm going to be having some new content dropping, so make sure that you check it out. Check me out on TikTok and Instagram, posting a lot of receipts there for you guys as well. Going to be talking Real Housewives of Atlanta. Then we have the OC. Still have a feeling that we are not done with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I just have a feeling we're going to continue to get more people really calling on Margaret to produce this police report. We want to see the police report because it's going to give us validity to her allegations, because we don't really know if we even believe the allegations to begin with. And so in order to even consider the allegations, I need to see your police report. I need to see what you stated to the police. And then I will evaluate if I feel like there was a phone call made or not. But if you can't give me a police report, that's as good as saying that it didn't happen. Like you were just trying to come in there with any sort of receipt. That's kind of what it felt like. Because wasn't the pizza oven the first plan? The pizza oven was going to be what they came in first with. And then when that didn't work out, now she has a police report and a record. I don't think so, guys. I'm sorry, but I don't think so. Also, I wanted to tell you guys really quickly, there was something out there about Teresa in the house, and her house, her name not being on the deed, and the LLC and all of this. And I just wanted to recap something with you guys. Teresa and Louie bought that house as an investment property. That's originally what they told us, because they weren't engaged yet, or they were engaged, but they didn't have a wedding date set yet. And Gia told her mother that, like, do you think grandma, Nono and would want you to live with somebody and not be married? And Teresa was like, no, I don't think that they would. So I think that that's why Teresa and Louie ended up getting married before they moved into the house. But because they did it that way, or because they wanted to, or because a lot of people do this, they put the home in an LLC. They created an LLC, which is very easy to do. Anyone can do it. It's called It Happened on Bay Boulevard, because that's where they met, on Bay Boulevard. And so there is no deed because there's still a mortgage on the home. So the deed is actually, the bank has the deed. Nobody gets a deed for anything until you own the property outright. Therefore, if Teresa's on the LLC, then it's the same thing, right? It's Teresa and Louie on the LLC. The LLC is what holds the house. The deed is with the bank. So when people post, oh, Teresa's name isn't on the deed, that doesn't even make any sense. Just wanted to let you guys know that. All right, guys. So have a great Monday. We'll chat soon. Make sure to hit the like button.